Hey guys, how's it going? It's Murda here with a patch note overview for the first, I guess, of our weekly patches starting January 16th. It doesn't have a game update, like 15, 16, and so on and so forth like we've had in the past. So I'm not sure quite what to call it, but it is the first of our 2014 weekly patches that they're aiming to put out every Wednesday or so. This one came out on Thursday. So sometimes it may fluctuate a little bit. It is the rest of the ESF update along with a few balance and bug fixes. So we'll go through it pretty quick. I'll do some actual gameplay examples of things really briefly as well to mix it up, make it a little bit more active rather than just reading through the patch notes themselves. But anyway, we've got some new weapons for the ESFs. If you've been on test server, you're probably familiar with them. I'm actually surprised that they released them this soon without more testing being done, but it is what it is. If you're interested, on Friday Night Ops tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/PlanetSide2. That is Friday night, January 17th. If you're watching this later, or if you're looking for a recap, they're going to do a panel on ESFs with a handful of pilots and Maggie and Kevmo, vehicle dev at SOE. So it should be good to watch. So be sure to tune into that if you're interested, even in discussing your opinions in the chat. So anyway, new weapons. You've basically got a new nose gun option. There's just 3 different versions depending on your empire because they're slightly different. They all have the same basic feel, larger magazine size with some trade-offs for other stats. I think generally they seem like an upgrade for certainly the average player. Some of the better pilots that I've spoken to seem like they're going to be wanting to use them as well, just because they have so many rounds. It really gives a lot more room for error, and it couples really well with, like, say, the new afterburner fuel tank cert line, for instance, to just run that and have this to engage both vehicles and infantry alike as your one-size-fits-all type of weapon. So I'm probably going to be picking it up. I don't think it's like a clear, oh my god, this is so much better, you have to get it type of weapon, but it's definitely a viable choice, and I think you'll see a lot of people using it. I'll hop in. It's the Kestrel for the NC, but like I said, they're all. I'm only going to show you the NC version just because those happen to be on NC on the test server. So NC with mag size upgrade, which is not even necessary, is 105 rounds. So I mean, this is me just killing a max with it. It is pretty powerful at that. If I'm killing a scythe with it, you'll see that it scythe's on fire after only 30 rounds. I still have 75 in the mag. So that's how that works. It's can still run through infantry. I know I'm not the best at. Oh, that's actually really awful. But I know they nerfed like the rotaries versus infantry. This seems to still kill infantry quite well, especially for how many rounds you have available to you. So I think it's going to certainly be a choice for the average pilot, and a lot of advanced pilots seem to be picking it up as well. The Coyote missiles are one of the other notes. They're basically 6 missiles, I believe, with mag size that you can fire off as mini rocket pods. They're dumbfire. They do absolutely terrible damage intentionally, so it would take like a few clips of them or a few mags of them to even kill a single infantry, so it's not worth firing at anything really other than other aircraft, because as you'll see, they do lock on to other aircraft once they're in close proximity. So for instance, this Mosquito, I can shoot it up here. Nope, it's too far. I can shoot it up there, and they will all basically heat seek once they're close enough. Their damage, as I said, is pretty low. We're looking at like about 100 damage per shot. That's an NC Reaver, so I can't lock onto it. So they're kind of like the noob's air-to-air ability. Like, I can shoot him about that far above the Mosquito. Get out of the smoke. Yeah. Let's see if I go a little bit higher. But as you can tell, I haven't done the math on how many it takes. It's still locking on at that point. It's pretty goofy, honestly. I haven't done the math on... Okay, so that's too high. I haven't done the math on how many it takes to kill, but I believe they're about 100 damage per shot. I'll take a look here once I land. But they're not really a viable thing to use unless, say like, I don't know, the Empire-specific rocket launchers, you're using a ton of them. You've got a squad of ESFs just all running them, and for the lulz, you're just bombarding people with Coyote missiles. The general consensus that I've gotten is that they're kind of fun and goofy, but not like a viable superior alternative, if you will. But they are an alternative nonetheless. So that's the Coyote missiles. Yeah, it is 100 damage per shot. And as I said, they are dumbfire normally, but they will lock on and heat seek automatically without you having to do anything if they get close enough to an enemy aircraft. The Hornet missiles are the other secondary slot alternative to like air-to-air pods or rocket pods, and they are laser guided or wire guided or however you prefer to refer to it. And you get 2 of those in a mag. I'm gonna jump into them real quick. And they're basically like having your own handheld engineer AV turret, or habit of locking my single-person vehicle, or Raven Max, if you will. So this is what just firing off 2 of them look like. I believe they do like 1,500 damage. It's actually pretty substantial. They'll one-hit infantry in a direct hit. And they just go with your crosshair. So if I fire over here and then move my crosshair, they're going to move with it, obviously, just like all those other things. Again, not sure that the damage or just overall time to kill of them, you know, they're going to kill aircraft pretty quick, but given a relatively long reload speed, even with reload speed fully certed on test server, you know, I'm not a pilot extraordinaire, so take my advice with a grain of salt here. But I don't necessarily think that they're going to be something that a lot of people are turning towards. Could be fun, like for instance on my characters that have rocket pods or Axiom, I'll probably pick these up just for goofing around. They do some pretty heavy armor. Like that was damage to the back of a Vanguard. He got him to, you know, half health basically. So he's at like 1 point of health after the 4 shots. So they hit heavily enough, but you know, as far as really fast moving targets and the relatively slow velocity of them and actually guiding them properly to your target, I think it would be really frustrating to try to use as a viable like means of air-to-air or even air-to-ground in terms of infantry. You can probably get tanks and stuff like that with them pretty well, but I'll probably goof around with them, like I said, after the Raxium on the rocket pods, but overall I don't think that there's something you're going to be looking to necessarily upgrade to. But I mean, that's the point, right? In PlanetSide at the end of the day, we want side grades and alternatives and meaningful choices and stuff like that, not just clear upgrades. So let me know what you guys think about them as you start using these things. The few other things for ESFs, you can see the radar on top of my head. That's an engagement radar. I don't know if you'll notice it in VR, really. Not really. It's kind of like air radar if you're familiar with it. In Battlefield, I think it gives you out to 600 meters of enemy aircraft on your minimap. So it's basically like a scout radar type thing that works for aircraft and goes pretty far. So if you're interested in that, that's another tool for air-to-air. There is the Afterburner cert line, which now got blown out quite a bit. It has 5 ranks that you can cert up, and you can get all the way up to 70% replenishment rate and 80% capacity by having that equipped. So that's a considerable buff. A lot of people I talked to are going to be running the new nose guns with that Afterburner tank, just for all purpose, basically. People that are confident enough in killing infantry with their nose gun, and people who want to, you know, dogfight and assist on armored targets alike. So that might be the way to go for a lot of guys out there. It's something to think about for sure. A lot of people already ran, especially for air-to-air, the fuel tank before it even had a cert line, so it's even better now. Moving along, that's what I just talked about. There's the engagement radar. There's the fuel tank cert line. They made some changes. I'm not going to really go into the specifics on what all the changes were. I'll probably actually turn that off while I'm doing this. It's a bit much. Anyway, Scout Radar gives experience now. Woohoo. They buffed fire suppression a little bit for ESFs only, not other vehicles. Obviously, they nerfed the stock afterburners slightly to make up for buffing them in terms of the cert line. And the existing air-to-air missiles got changed quite a bit. Actually, a faster lock-on time and a higher ammo capacity at the cost of them traveling a little bit less of a distance and requiring the lock to be maintained, you know, keeping your target in the crosshairs until it hits, as well as the ability to lose your lock if the target is more than 145-degree turn away, so you can try to juke them and stuff like that and actually break the lock in that fashion as well. So that's probably a welcome change, I think. I haven't actually gotten to try it out. I'm not a huge fan of lock-ons, if you know me. Anyway, moving along. Heavy Assault Resist Shield got a minor buff in terms of actually resisting damage from many vehicle and or explosion related sources. It looks like it's mostly flak, Lancer, Vortex, vehicle grenades, vehicle shotguns. Not a whole lot of things, but you know, like the harasser, infantry secondaries, furies, and so on and so forth. Why not? Can't complain about that. I think that that makes sense, especially in lieu of the nanoweave and flak and resist changes in how they work together or lack thereof. Same with infantry flak armor resisting Lancer and Vortex damage, for what that's worth. Shotgun slugs are now matched in velocity for VS, given the previous nerf to their bullet drop. So we're clear along the board on shotgun slugs. Regardless of what Empire you play, I don't really think it's a great idea to really be using them, honestly, unless you're an NC Max. The handheld shotguns, I don't think benefit from them too much, personally. So bundles are easier to preview what you're actually purchasing in the depot. I guess I have them unlocked because I'm a lunatic here. Can I actually? I guess I can't do it with that. It's a poor example. But anyway, good news, right? Make it a little bit easier for people to tell what they're buying. If you're wondering why things are purchasable for one cert, I'm on the test server, so everything's purchasable for one cert here, just so that you can have them. That's not going live or anything like that. The other amazing thing, heroic boosts, both the 3-month and the 6-month variety, are now available. Didn't expect this one, honestly. Not now available full-time, all the time, whenever the hell you want, until they say otherwise. And they haven't given us any inclination of saying otherwise. This has been a popular topic of when are we getting heroic boosts back, and people would be like waiting. They don't really want to buy the smaller boosts or whatever, or their alpha squad expired, but heroic boosts weren't available at the time. So I think it's a really good move to just put them there. And I know I myself will probably just be picking up heroic boosts and chaining them on all 4 characters, the 6-month version. So it'll be like what, a 20,000 station cash investment every 6 months. But if you do the math on it, it works out to be an amazing savings, especially if you're somebody like me who plays every day or every couple of days or even every week. The 6-month boosts really save you a whole lot, so I would certainly recommend it if you're considering a boost. Other than membership, boosts are probably the first thing that I would recommend buying, since they give back to you in terms of generating more certs or resources or whatever it is that you're using. Directly for the time spent. So previously I would do the 7-day boost if I didn't have a alpha squad or a 6-month. The 3 months okay, but you can tell obviously for the price difference you're saving yourself 1,000 station cash if you're looking at it as 1,000 station cash per month. But when you look at the week as 500, I mean, you really are saving a whole lot. So I won't go on about that, but I'm really glad to see them in there. I will be buying them as mine run out, and I do suggest it if you're somebody who's looking to actually invest a considerable amount of station cash over the course of that 6 months. You will likely make so many tens of thousands of certs, if not hundreds of thousands of certs, depending on how much you play and how good you farm certs, that it'll certainly be worth it. So for what that's worth. The rest is really just bug fixes, and I don't think there was anything too particularly interesting. They fixed the reload animation for the NS7 PDW. A lot of people mentioned that on the stream when I was using it, but I don't really think that there was a lot more. Just some certain collision issues with different bases, some color changes that were off, and some centralized HUD overlapping problems. The flickering that we saw on test is fixed, and then I guess what else do we have? The jumping will pull your character out of iron sights now for whatever reason. That's probably fine with me. Don't really care for bunny hopping. Not that it was ever really that useful in this game to begin with. And they fixed the FOV issues that a few people mentioned after Performance Update 2, where things looked a little weird in their field of view just because of the resolution that they're using. And they also added an option under your graphic settings that allows you to adapt to where the hell am I? To wide view mode for different resolutions and aspect ratios and multi-monitor displays and things like that. So you have that available to you now. Everything else should be fixed, and when you jump, you actually resume your iron sights upon landing and do a little bit of a pop and bounce. But that's it. I'm really looking forward to the weekly updates, and when applicable, I will try to do them in such a format where I can like hop in VR or something like that and show you guys some of the new things rather than just me reading the notes to you or going over the salient points of the notes. I would assume that that's more boring than this. So hopefully this format worked out for you. Let me know what you think, both about the format itself and about the patch. And hopefully we'll see you guys almost weekly for these sorts of patch note videos, somewhere middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on when they release. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Again, be sure to tune into Friday Night Ops tomorrow night on twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 at 8 p.m. Eastern for some ESF discussion, among other things. And I always appreciate the support, and you guys heading over to ItZMuRdA.com for my stream. If you don't know, I try to stream PlanetSide 2 every day over there as much as I possibly can. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon.